Episode 45, Wasteland Weaponistics, the automatic pistol, caliber 45, or the M1911. Now, the M1911 has first appeared in Fallout Tactics and has reappeared in Fallout New Vegas and Fallout Wasteland Warfare. As always, this is a Fallout lore channel, and when it comes to dealing with real-world weapons, I don't spend much time talking about, well, the real-world history and mechanics. There are plenty of other channels for that, especially about this magnificent pistol. But that doesn't mean I won't tell you some of its history, just a very condensed version of it. The M1911 might be one of the most iconic pistols ever made, a design that is now 111 years old and is still the standard when it comes to pistol design. Even though more advanced pistols have come and gone, the M1911 has stood the test of time. Even if you consider the M1911 to be outdated compared to modern pistols, know that nearly all modern pistols use the same action that is derived from the M1911. That would be the tilting barrel style of action. Now, when John Moses Browning went about designing the M1911, he didn't start out with this masterpiece of engineering. It took over a decade to get to this point. It all started with the Colt M1900, a 38 ACP chambered pistol that evolved into the Colt 1901, the Colt 1902, and so on and so on. These early pistols didn't use the tilting barrel design we know today. Instead, they used a kind of swinging barrel. It wasn't until the Colt 1909 did the swinging barrel change to a tilting barrel. Now, originally, most of these pre-M1911 pistols were all chambered in 38 ACP. How we got from 38 to 45 is, well, from military testing. You see, they shot a bunch of cows, and they determined that the best caliber was 45, just as God intended. This also has to do with the US military's experience in the Philippines, with Filipino warriors who would wrap themselves in heavy ropes as well as use a type of pain-killing drug. This combination made them hard to kill with the 38 caliber revolvers that were issued at the time. And after many pistol trials, throwing away dozens and dozens of competitors, eventually the Colt Browning design became the M1911 we know. Through the century, the M1911 has served in basically every war since World War I, with very few changes, being the primary sidearm until the late 1980s when it was officially replaced by the Beretta M9. However, many units still continue to use the M1911 and more modern versions of it, like the M45, which was adopted by MARSOC and MUSOC. And later, in 2014, an even more modernized variant of the M45 was adopted, the M45A1. However, they were forced to replace their M45A1s with Glocks in 2016 due to logistical concerns. But that doesn't mean some operator out there isn't still rocking a 1911. Now, the M19 not only has a long service life with the military, but with police and civilians as well. Through the years, all types of variants of the M1911 have been made, chambered in basically every pistol caliber. And if you ever wanted to cosplay as Alucard from the Helsing series, you can get yourself a Lar Grizzly, which is a 10-inch long 1911 chambered in 45 Win Mag. The 10-inch Lar Grizzly 1911 is one of my dream guns, and one day I will own one. Now, with all that real-world lore out of the way, let's get into the Fallout lore. The M1911 doesn't seem that popular in the Fallout universe, as it's only in Fallout Tactics, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Now, we know that the military of the Fallout universe adopted it, as the M1911 predates the Fallout lore when it splits with our own timeline, so it had to have been in military service. And we see the M1911 on the front of the Fallout 4's Guns and Bullets magazine. It says, "Take aim Army style." Despite the gun not appearing in the game, it's on this magazine. So why don't we find M1911s in every Fallout game? Well, the gameplay design actually comes from one of the original Fallout devs, Chris Taylor. This is a quote from Chris Taylor. "The gun choices in Fallout 1 were 90% mine. I felt that the technology would have developed differently in the Fallout universe after the split with our timeline, so I tried to make less of the weapons real world. The two exceptions that I can remember are the Desert Eagle 44 and the 9mm Mauser. The Desert Eagle was my favorite gun at the time, and I had to include it. The 9mm Mauser is an older weapon that I think has a very cool, unique look. So, according to his quote, most of the guns in a Fallout game should be fantasy designs. The exception would be guns that the developer finds cool. I'm guessing this is why Bethesda still, generally, with their Fallout games, adds in a lot more fantasy weapons than Obsidian did, as Obsidian with New Vegas added in a lot of real-world firearms. Now, for a lore reason on why we don't find 1911s in every Fallout, I don't have one. Honestly, if you have any guesses, leave them down below, but I can't come up with a good reason why we don't find 1911s. Now, the only thing I can think of is that in the Fallout universe, most of them were destroyed by the government. Just like in real life, when John McCain introduced legislation that would have thousands of World War II 1911s melted down for scrap metal. Now, in Fallout Tactics, the description of the pistol reads, the classic Colt M1911A1, easy to use, accurate, with tremendous stopping power. This weapon will not let you down. Curiously, in Fallout Tactics, the weapon has a capacity of 12 rounds. I don't usually comment on weapon capacity because it can change from game to game, but I found it strange that in Fallout Tactics, what would be an extended mag is the standard for the 1911. Now, in Fallout Tactics, the M1911, or Colt 45 as the game actually refers to it as, isn't used by any major factions. Mostly raiders and the Beast Lords, who, if you don't know, are a tribe of human mutants that can telepathically control animals. The Beast Lords are a strange reference homage to the 1982 film The Beastmaster. Other NPCs besides the Beast Lords using the 1911 only really include kind of just minor, unimportant people like some random farmer or just a random person in a town. I mean, there's really no more lore in here. So, we head on to Fallout New Vegas. Now, the 1911, or the 45 auto pistol, as it's called in Fallout New Vegas, is not a vanilla game weapon. It comes from the DLC Honest Hearts. Because of this, no major faction uses it. However, the DLC does add it to various vendors after you complete the DLC. You can buy them from the Gunrunners and the Great Khans. Now, in the Honest Hearts DLC, various tribes use them, but we see them mostly used by the Dead Horses tribe, led by the former Caesar's Legion legate, Joshua Graham. You see, according to Joshua Graham, here, each tribe uses a specific weapon. His tribe chose the 1911. He has this quote.
In the Great Basin and Colorado Plateau, all tribes are known for a specific weapon. Whitelegs are known for their big submachine guns, storm drums. They broke into an armory near Spanish Fork and have been using them for years. Of course, the Dead Horses have their wooden war clubs, and even the Sorrows have their Yao Guai gauntlets. This type of 45 automatic pistol was designed by one of my tribe almost 400 years ago. Learning its use is a new Canaanite rite of passage.
He mentions one of his tribe invented the pistol almost 400 years ago. That's because John Moses Browning was a Mormon. Joshua Graham is a Mormon as well. Where Joshua Graham and the Dead Horses got all these 1911s, I don't know. Perhaps they got them from the same armory the Whitelegs got their Thompsons. The 45 auto pistol does have some upgrade mods, with the heavy slide that improves condition and a silencer. Now, the only unique 45 auto pistol belongs to Joshua Graham. It's a light shining in the darkness. A very customized compact, or officer-sized pistol, with rattlesnake grips and an engraving. It's translated to, the light shines in the darkness and the darkness does not overcome it. A light shining in the darkness has better durability, better DPS, and better crit chance over the standard pistol. It is acquired from Joshua Graham either by killing him or after the end of the DLC. And that's all for Fallout New Vegas. Now for Wasteland Warfare. In Wasteland Warfare, Joshua Graham's model has the pistol. And that's it for Wasteland Warfare. And well, that's it for the 1911 in the Fallout universe. Despite being one of the most popular pistols in the world, that has lasted for well over 100 years, it's not in the Fallout universe that much, just in Fallout Tactics and Fallout New Vegas. High hopes for it to be added into Fallout 76, but Bethesda hates adding new firearms into Fallout 76 at all, so the Fallout TV show might be the next chance for the 1911 to appear in a Fallout piece of content. As always, like and subscribe to this channel for more Fallout weapon lore. There is also my main channel, Trooper Fofo. Alright, see everybody later. Bye.